Oh, is it working?
Yeah, we're good.
Are we good?
Nope, Dan knocked the mouse button away, so
My
he
bad.
couldn't unmute us.
I'm sorry.
So are we live? This is
How's it
happening?
going, guys?
Oh, yes.
What's up, guys?
According to this, we're live. Oh, okay. So I'm the one who's
I hate
introducing us all today. So welcome back to another excellent episode. We got a lot of cool stuff going on for you. This is episode
15.
16.
15.
Well, according to this, it's 16, unless you don't know how to type.
16. Nope,
Yeah,
you're
no,
right.
this is-
You're right.
Yeah, and today we're going to be talking about HPA systems, as well as we finally have the return of our boy Chuckles over here.
I'm back, baby.
School is finished. Yay!
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Almost done for me.
Yeah, right?
Calc 3 tomorrow.
I have one more paper due at 9 a.m. tomorrow. I should probably do that.
8 a.m. is for me.
Oh, I'm
Ugh.
I'll let you talk about some of the stuff we have coming up.
All right. Okay. Boom. So this is just we haven't really put it up on the interwebs or Facebook or anything, but it's going to be going up. We're doing our own, actually, the Extreme Airsoft Swap Meet. We're going to be doing that June 3rd. So it's kind of going to be like the expo. It's going to be in the same general area. But what it is you're going to call us up. You have to put a down payment of $5, and it's just going to be $5 to have your own little spot. You got to bring your own tables and everything. You have to be in charge of your own money and everything. But you get to come essentially set up from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on a Saturday. We'll just hawk your wares at people coming. So there are going to be players coming. There will be general public. They can just, it won't really cost them anything to just go in there and sell their stuff. Buy your stuff. So if you pay $5 and you get to sell, you could sell like a dump pouch, and then you're already like, $5 for a dump pouch, and then you're in, So I have a lot of customers that come in, they're like, you guys want to buy my used gun? And it's like, no, I don't want your Tavor. You're just something obscure.
I don't want your Tavor held together by bent nails.
Oh my god, we have one of those!
That was a mistake.
I do have to remind people, though, is that the law of you can't sell to under 18-year-old people still valid with used guns. That's not just new guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also since it is happening privately on our property, we will be responsible for that. It's for the same reason why Facebook doesn't allow sales anymore, because even though they're private sales, they are through Facebook, and you do need to be over 18 to do that. Since you can be 13 and up to use Facebook, there's that gray zone. So the same thing happens with us. So, if you're going to purchase a gun, please have someone over 18, a parent or guardian.
If you're going to be selling a gun.
Yeah, don't be a dick, because then we won't be able to do it again, and you probably won't be able to come back.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, Chuckles, Connor says hi.
Hi, I don't...
I was just
Hi,
told
Connor.
to tell Chuckles that Connor said hi.
Probably Connor Keller.
Alright.
I grabbed this gun yesterday at the event. I grabbed it. I was walking on the field. I just grabbed it. I shot 5 people and I just walked off. I was like, ha ha ha! But so that's coming up. We have, within the next day or so, we're having issues with it, but we have summer camp registration. So that's up.
Will the registration be on our website?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's on our
actually,
website.
it is
There's
already
a whole.
up. You can find the dates already.
Yeah, you can find the dates. Actually registering, and we're gonna just need another day because we just realized we had a problem trying to put it live. So then it has the dates. I'm
actually pulling it up right now.
It's going to be PayPal pre-registration again?
So it's not going to be PayPal pre-registration for this. Well, that would be cool. So the website is live with the dates. However, the register now button doesn't work yet. We just need to set up all that. But once that's set up, how it's going to work is you're going to fill that out, or you can come in person, and then you can just and we'll give you a call if you fill it out online. And then you'll need a deposit. Just to go over real quick, it's going to be $125 if you have your own gear for the week, or it's going to be $200. And usually we'll need like a $25 or $50 deposit. We'll get the specifics out to you. When that's all set up. But
you have nothing to do over the summer.
Yeah, you've got nothing to do over the summer. If you want to learn how to actually pie corners and clear rooms.
That's mine.
Nope.
We got the same one.
Yep.
We always get the same one. I never noticed.
I go for a red, you go for red. I go for orange, you go for orange.
The age limit is it's 10 to 16 years old. So make sure you're coming.
Legal.
Yeah, you're legal for that. I would like to do like an advanced of age and up, but I feel like at that point you should just do a zero guns.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you actually want to learn how to play Airsoft the way that it was designed, to do Airsoft the way it actually was designed to do, because Airsoft was derived for the need for real steel training. So if you want to train with a real steel mindset, that's something that we're going to give you. It's going to be very good. I don't know who's going to be the instructors. I think it'd be cool if I could instruct a day or so. Just
Usually
on,
managers do a day. Or so.
yeah, just a day. I'll instruct you guys on how to be just hated by
And maybe
everyone.
I'll come in and tell you why he's wrong later.
Yeah, exactly. But Casual Ninja, real quick, it's $125 if you have your own gun, and it is $200 if you need to rent. And that's for the whole thing. Yeah, Ben, I'm not going to be doing it. Specifically with what I'm getting at is it's not speed soft camp.
Yeah.
It's actual real gun drills and real gun handling, because that makes the most sense.
So that's gonna be.
You will up your game in Airsoft. Though.
Oh,
Yeah.
you'll get better.
You will learn something. Like last year, I only ended up getting like 1 day to do it, or 2, but I took them and I taught all of those kids to how to kind of breach a room, the right way to do it. And then I don't know, it was a couple of months ago that some of those kids were at a game. They were like, "Let's go breach the room." I was like, "What? You can't just ask me to do that. Of course I want to do that." And I was like, so that's something that's coming up. You'll learn something. It's cool, but it's also hang out. They have lunch packages, or you can pack your own lunch. We're cool with anything.
Ben suggested we do blank fire training.
I genuinely.
We're like simunition.
Yeah. Oh, simunition.
No, that's what I'm saying.
That would be a good 17 and up thing, or 18 and up.
Yeah, 21 and up. I'm
Yeah,
pretty
20.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. So that's that, and then July 2nd, save the date. Fall of the Rising Sun.
Yeah, so the Fall of the Rising Sun. So, I promise, guys, we are going to be getting into the meat of this, but we do have lots of announcements for you guys. So, the Fall of the Rising Sun, that is going to be a World War II theme event, and it's going to take place on the Pacific Theater of War. The Pacific Theater of War during World War II, which is something that you don't see a lot.
You have a Pacific?
A specific, that takes place in the Pacific. And it should be pretty cool. I'm gonna be writing that, so you can expect it to be, in a sense, historically accurate. I'm gonna be doing some really screwed up stuff, because that's what the Japanese did in World War II, and the Americans had their fair share as well. But you know how the Japanese, what they would do is there would be women and children from these local towns and such. I will get this quick. And what they do is they'd hold these people hostage behind the lines, because there were the pretty distinct fronts.
Of course.
On that theater. And so what they would do is they would release these women and children out to cross these, these fronts where the American troops were. And once the American troops went out to go, collect them, because they were assuming that they were giving them up to be prisoners of war, to get the civilians out of the way so they can,
But no, they weren't that cool.
No, but so once the Americans came out of cover to go grab them, they put bullets through the backs of women and children and shot they shot everyone.
Yep.
So you can expect game modes like that. It's going to be really cool. It's not going to be that sick. I mean, it is our 4th of July event. So it should be pretty good. Very American. As you can tell, the Americans do win, but it's going to be a great time.
I can never gauge how long James is going to take.
Yeah, so I don't either. When I start talking, I really don't expect when I'm going to stop.
Right? That's why we just start another conversation. No. But moving on from that, we're going to talk a little bit about the events that went on yesterday.
War games.
Yes, Operation War Games.
So while we're talking about it, there's going to be a slideshow in the background. Maybe you guys will see some pictures of yourselves. I wasn't here for it, but these two guys were, so they're going to talk about it a little bit, and I'm going to turn on the field lights behind us, because we forgot to do that.
Alright, so Op War Games, as you've heard me say 1,000 times, was coming up. We were like, it was like a special forces base event. Look, you can see right now, those are drugs, so it was cocaine and everything.
It was real cocaine, too.
Jesus. Oh God, I hope not.
Kids were coming off the field screaming.
Yeah, we got pretty bad. We had to kick a lot of kids out.
We did.
So it was based on a lot of special forces kind of. Okay. Based on those scenarios that they kind of find themselves in, so counter narcotics. It was very objective based, and the overall feedback was very positive. one of the favorite game ones I had was we had it was like you had to destroy PETN. So it was like you had a bunch of C4 and explosives you needed to take care of. So what you had to do, they were spread out throughout all over the field, and you had to grab a bag of explosives and leave them next to the cache that they needed to blow up. And it has to be there a minute and 30 seconds. So you have a ref over there timing it, and then blow them up, and you had 20 minutes to bang out 6 objectives or something. Oh, excuse me. Ooh, so people really like that. But we also ran a medic rule for when we did some kill count games, just like we did one at the beginning of the day to warm everyone up, 2-minute respawns, and then we did one about midday closer to the end where we turned off most of the lights on the field. We set everything to pretty low, and people thought that was actually pretty awesome. I mean, we ran most of it was like most of it was lights all day, and people loved that. They were like, I can actually see stuff, and it was awesome. But we had a medic rule in place, so you had for every 5, because we didn't have it wasn't the largest event ever. So for every 5 people, we had a medic. The medic had kind of like how Stag does it with their cut up socks. So we did that. So you can get medicked twice, and then after that, you have to return to the wall, and then it's a 4-minute respawn on the wall, which people liked. You know, when they get shot, they go down, and when they put their hand up, they can move out of the line of fire. They can be moved by fellow players, but get revived by a medic twice, head back to the wall for the 4-minute respawn. Medics can heal other medics. I put up a video on Instagram of one of the customers, Zach. I was on the field. I couldn't take the nice new camera out on the field, which sucked, but I get it. And so I had my camera, and he medicked like he medicked like 4 people in like 5 seconds. Like, he just ran like boom, 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 boom after they got like wiped out. So
oh god.
Yeah, Stefano knows when you've been messing with your guns. He's seen some stuff, and that's his face.
Sly as I am.
So
Harrison
there were other things
from
that
ASG. He goes, "Who's your favorite rep, and why is it Harrison from ASG?" That's a fact. Actually, Harrison, if you're still watching, make sure keep an eye on your email. We're going to be inviting you to our Prezi 8 event. I know that the way that you guys set up, you know, your travel plans are at the beginning of the year, but we'll be setting that up because it's something that you should show up for. Absolutely.
It's going to be
worthwhile.
Huge. But there were other ones, like they had to find the drugs on the field. They were all hidden. They had like a snatch and grab where we gave them trash bags, and they had to go to a cabin on the field. They had to grab spare computers, hard drives, files, just a bunch of stuff they had to grab. I think what else? They had to move a dummy, so we had.
Where'd they put James?
Well, that would have been better. Well, we had Ken. We filled up his vest with like bags of just used BBs, so it weighed him down. So they had to load him onto a stretcher and like evac him out of the area. There's a bunch of cool game modes, and the response overall was really was positive. So hopefully some of those games, like the bomb cache one, or the PE10 cache, is gonna, some of those things and some of those rules are gonna try to make it away. Not like all of the games are gonna be medic, but maybe a few games of the day are gonna be kind of like a medic based thing. So yeah, and then we had the raffle, and we gave away a
VFC.
A VFC.
Really?
Yes.
Damn.
We gave away a VFC MP5 A5.
That's awesome.
Yeah, those things. I mean, those things are nice.
I love those.
We gave away those 2 Sato sweatshirts. We had a booby bottle, which are new silicone bottles. They fold up. They do cool stuff. I just yell at kids whenever they go over there. I just yell at them to stop touching my boobies.
Well, Des, you know how he opened that one up right up there in the raffle? He goes, "Who likes boobies?"
I'm like, so, I don't know about you guys, but who likes boobies? And I pulled up the bottle.
Nice silicone boobs, too.
They're silicone boobies. So, but it was really good.
We are a kid-friendly store.
I didn't hear a lot of... only 1 or 2 people complained about the medic rule, and it wasn't anybody that, like, I kind of want to listen.
How are you going to say this without sounding like a joke?
It wasn't anybody that I'd want... It wasn't really anybody that I'd want to listen to anyways. They were like, just do games with like 1-minute respawns at the end of the day. I was like, no!
Everybody's opinion matters.
That's
Just
true.
to be clear.
Everyone's opinion
Always
matters.
open to suggestions.
But by doing that, you're defeating the purpose of the event, which was to be a more Milsim style. Like, I don't get 1 minute respawns. When I get shot out there, I could stand there for 15 minutes dead with my hand up, my red rag on in the middle of the night with my light on. Like, you guys have it easy here. Like,
With me and James sitting there going, hee hee hee.
and like, that's just too easy. 1 minute respawns. It's like, oh, I'm shot. You know, like there's at other events. There's like we've talked about before. There's a sense of squad integrity, blah blah blah.
But yeah.
It was pretty awesome. So it was long-winded,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
this kid Nick, he brought I think it was a Red Fire or something, Mosin Nagant, but it had the bayonet on that clicks up and like folds to the side so you can pull it out and put it on. Like that thing was super fresh. I was like,
So
I got
it was
excited.
a bayonet.
And then it was a bayonet. And then this helmet here was super cool. The Zabowers, who are regular customers here. Nick Sr., he wears glasses and he just has an issue where it just fogs up all the time, so he gets that full seal mask. He found it somewhere on Amazon. It replaces like where your arc rails are on like bump helmets. Like it was it looked sick. And then he had the Crytek LMG, so he looked like a juggernaut or something. He just needs the armor. So,
But
there you go.
But yeah, finally moving on to today's topic, which again is HPA systems. Originally it was just Polar Star. Now there's probably just the Fusion engine originally too. There's probably a dozen or so different
there's so many different ones.
HPA systems out there now. So we thought we'd spend some time today kind of going through those HPA systems and talking about the pros and cons of each, our opinions of each. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, this is definitely the stream to drop questions about HPA systems.
Oh, you guys, Chuckles has his experience, but Des and I don't like to self-title myself, but I've owned just about every HPA system. I've owned 7 Polar Stars so far, with a Wolverine Bolt, 2 Daytona guns, let's see what else, I guess, while I'm spitting them off. And I've SMP'd an L86, so I have quite the extensive knowledge and experience with this kind of stuff. So if you guys have any questions...
I've been teching and owning them since literally day one.
Yeah,
so.
Des has built thousands and thousands of Polar Stars.
Probably not thousands, but
Many.
I'd be a rich man if I built thousands.
Also, apparently I need to tell Harrison Wiltz that John is the only fat bearded guy that we'll ever need. Would you agree? Extreme Air, because apparently we're gonna have a rep war on August 8th.
A rep war. I thought they were talking about getting rid of me. I was like,
how
are you?
Oh, actually, that is true. So, sorry, John.
Ouch.
Yeah, geez, John. Way to put me in that position.
Why you gotta play me like that? Do this to me.
I'd love if we could do
You're tearing this family
a
apart.
rep-only game. Like a rep-only game on the Friday before.
That would be fun.
Ooh, battle it out.
Yeah.
Reps,
Battle of the
trouble in
companies.
Paris town.
Right? But as we're saying, like I said, I'll start off with a question for you, James. Of all the ones you've owned, what's your favorite? Not necessarily what's the best to buy. What is your favorite HPA system?
Okay, my favorite HPA system. I've got to say. Oh, actually, by the way, I've also owned a Tippmann. Forgot to add that.
Oh yeah.
But by far my favorite. This isn't the best, but my favorite HPA system is the Daytona gun, and I'll stand by that because for those of you who don't know what the Daytona gun is, it is the best of a gas blowback and the best of an AEG put into one.
And all the non-reliability.
Yeah, so it is a 110% all mechanical system. It is powered off of a tank on your back, same operating pressure of a Polar Star and such, about 80 to 120 psi. And it has about a 2.5 pound bolt that slugs back and forth every time you pull the trigger. And as a result, it's there's lots of little moving parts in there. The air shaft likes to get bent and snap, but it uses AEG mags, so you don't have those $40 a mag. Granted, nice. If we're talking cost, that no working Daytona gun is going to sell less than $1,000. Right. But nothing is more satisfying than just having that bolt slug back and forth and just shooting people with it. I will I will stay true to this. No, you can ask me 2 years from now, a year ago, I will always say the Daytona gun is the most fun I have ever had playing a game of Airsoft, at least in terms of the gunplay.
Right.
So that's my favorite HPA system.
Yeah, that's fair
What do
enough.
you think is the most practical?
Oh, Polar Star.
I mean, it's like not even worth asking that question.
Yeah. I mean, really any solenoid electro. How do you pronounce that?
Electro-pneumatic.
An electro-pneumatic system. I mean, the SMP. I mean, in terms of relatively speaking, with the rest of Airsoft, any electro-pneumatic system is going to be the best.
Right.
But looking specifically at electro-pneumatic, Polar Star. The fusion engine. Until.
It's perfection.
I really can't say anything about it. Anything bad about it.
I just wish Ben would release the frickin' Bluetooth FCUs for it. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah.
What about you, Dan? What's your favorite? Again, not necessarily most high performance or anything like that, but favorite to use.
All right, my favorite to use. I mean, back when I first once I decided, I was like, oh, one of my AEGs crapped out. I was like, it's a time, And it was the SMP, the Wolverine SMP, brand freaking new out on the market. Like they were like, oh, there's a single moving thing, and this existed before the jack existed. So at that point, you only had fusion engines. So it's like, well, I wanted HPA, but I wanted something, it'll be less points of failure because it's a single solenoid rather than two. But it was also just more affordable, and people, all of my guys had them, and they were really good. The original ones were, once you got them right, those things were bulletproof. So I like the Wolverine SMP Inferno. I like those because, excuse me, sorry, it allows you.
Oh, Tums.
No, I feel like I have them at next time. But I like them because, for me personally, it offers a lot of versatility. Because I originally had mine in. It was I had it in an Echo 1 Scar. No, first it was an Echo 1 XCR. So it's a version 2. That's actually a standard M4 gearbox. So M4 worked for that. I moved it to a Scar Heavy because it's just a drop-in unit, so it works really nicely. It just takes the place of the cylinder and the piston and everything and will fit. It requires some modifications sometimes for alignment. But I put it in my Scar Heavy, which I only needed to swap out the nozzle. The gearbox is a 2.5 or something. So it still fit, and it did just fine. And then my last one was I moved it to my MP5. But the cool thing is they have so many nozzles for them.
Thank God, it's been a slut of HPA systems.
Yeah, it can literally, those things, they can go and everything. All you need is the right switchboard. And then they have the, and I kind of like the versatility that it offers you with the new ones, like the Infernos, the Evolution series, where all you got to do is buy the Hydra front end, unscrew it, screw it on, and then you have an offset nozzle. So all your M14s and PDRs and all the weird crap you guys want to, all those guns that you that you guys just for some reason want to put an HPA unit into, you can do that. If you love a gun that much, I feel like that's what you want to do to keep that thing performing as long as possible.
Loving this Facebook chat. Sorry to interrupt you, but I have ASG and Z-Shot are duking it out with hashtags.
I love it. What was I going to say? My personal favorite, and again, not necessarily high performance or all that, but my favorite has to probably be the Jack. Similar reasoning is the Jack, it's a really, really small form factor. Yeah. And you can fit it in just about every gun.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily as efficient as an F1, but it's still super air efficient. The whole switchboard is incredibly simple. And it's still an external FCU, which I prefer. And like I said, you can literally do anything you want. And I honestly think from experience, you can get a higher rate of fire out of a Jack than you can a full fusion engine.
I believe it is, because you have the one solenoid instead of waiting for the two of them to interact with each other. Yeah.
Like I've been able to feed, because when you build a gun, you're like, okay, let me see what the operating limits are. I've been able to feed at 60 rounds a second, literally faster than a minigun.
To be fair, I have seen an MP5. Because when you go up, past 60 rounds a second, you have to have a shorter barrel.
Yeah.
But I have seen an MP5 feed with a Polar Star fusion engine at 96 rounds a second.
Yeah, I saw this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this is video with a chrono. It's all proved.
It's insane. I mean, the accuracy was
ridiculous.
like,
Yeah, it's
I
like
probably can't hit any.
I'm pretty sure like a shotgun would be.
Taking a water hose and putting your finger in front of it would be more accurate than that weapon.
So the funny thing is, greater than about 40 rounds per second. Sometimes you can get away with it with 60, depending on barrel length. What ends up happening, and so I'm gonna just drop some science for a second here. Is I know it bores some of you, but deal. What ends up happening is that the pellets are so close together that the one in front starts to create a low pressure, high turbulent stream behind it, which allows the one behind it to catch up, and you'll get this effect where you'll be shooting, and the first few rounds will just shotgun in every which direction because they're literally doing this in midair and bouncing off of each other. It's almost entertaining. Like, imagine that as a room clearing, just every which direction. But yeah, like I said, that's why I like the Jack. But I figured we'd start by kind of talking where things started out with the dual solenoid systems that are out there.
Okay.
So here, I'll hand you this one.
Ooh.
I was typing.
That's why I was holding it like that. So
Don't let Bobby see you.
okay, so I have to say the joke, one of my favorite jokes before we go into this. And I'm sorry, Rob, from
Like
Falcon,
a plastic bag.
I'm sorry, Rob, from Falcon, if you're watching, but my favorite thing is the Falcon V12 is the one system that the whole HPA community comes together to hate in unison.
Oh yeah. It's like seeing Volkswagen and Subaru guys get together for a single cause. It doesn't happen normally, but when it does, it's beautiful.
But no, in reality, it's still a dual solenoid system, and it does sell for less than the Fusion engine itself. It does have some nice features too. We're going to go more into the differences between them in a moment. I want to talk a little bit about how the dual solenoid systems work and kind of the advantage of a dual solenoid system over a single solenoid system. So what I tell most customers is that, excuse me, a dual solenoid system is great for the person who wants to really tune in their system, and they're all about getting the absolute highest performance possible. But you're going to have to be willing to sometimes change some settings.
Yeah, you gotta.
Depending on the weather, depending on your gameplay that day, stuff like that. It's a little more temperamental, but when you'll get
What, the Fusion engine?
way higher performance out of it.
Once you get it going.
It's usually not even, sorry to interrupt you, it's usually just the temperature that really makes the difference.
Right,
just
right.
because, the air would be more dense or less dense depending on that.
But on the same token, it's like if you're going to play outside, use different settings than if you're going to play inside, and stuff like that. Whereas the difference is a single solenoid system is generally more set and forget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry, this Facebook chat is lit. If you're not a part of it, and I have a question for you guys. This was prompted by John from Z-Shot.
John!
If you
I
could
slapped James in the face for you.
Yeah, he did. He slapped me in the
I walked up and
face.
like, hey James, pop!
But if you could be any TV dinner, what would you be?
I don't know.
John says.
What?
John,
Are those relevant?
John says that he would be a Salisbury steak. So I guess it's like like whatever they advertise like food like on TV. Harrison says that he would be a kid cuisine because he never had one. He just asked it and people are answering it. So he said Harrison Wiltz from HG said he would be kid cuisine because he never had one as a child and feels that he missed out.
I think I had one once. I was going to say, I'd say I'd want to be a Lunchable because
I'm gonna have to go with Go-Gurt.
Ooh,
You can make a meal out of Go-Gurt.
Can I just say Velveeta? Can I just say Velveeta? I'll be Kraft mac and cheese all day. I'll eat that ish all day. But if not, Lunchables, because how many of you were like,
good.
Mom, get me Lunchables? And it was like, you got the tightest little, you're just like, oh dude, look at my ham and cheese, it's so sick, but I have Oreos, so it's okay. Like,
all right. I have to say, on the topic of Oreos, there's a frustration that I want to see if the podcasters agree with me. Have you guys been to Shaw's or Stop and Shop or wherever you buy Oreos and you've seen the s'mores Oreos?
No.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic. What? But I'm very disappointed in Oreo because they're not called s'moreos.
Oh.
How do you make
That is
s'mores
a-
Oreos and not think we should call these s'moreos?
Oh my god, that'd be. You
I
didn't
know
have
this
one
totally-
person in that building that was like, you know what would be a good idea? This, and they were like, they throw their hats and they're like, God damn it, you're right. Patent it. That would have been perfect. Oh my gosh.
James, chill with the chat, God.
No, man. I'm engaging my audience.
All right, but like I said, let's talk a little bit about the dual solenoid system. Let's get back on topic here. So dual solenoid systems, one of them operates the nozzle, and one of them releases air down the barrel. Benefit that is each solenoid's separately tunable. So you can adjust how long the nozzle's back for. If you're wrong and you're using high caps, you can have it back for longer.
If you're wrong, yeah, exactly.
If you're using Magpul mags, which feed stupid fast, you can have a lower DN setting. So with Polar Stars, you have DN, DP. DN is how long the nozzle's back for. DP is how much air is released down the barrel, which generally you tune to the point in which there's basically just enough air to fill the barrel. You're not wasting air that way, and the gun's quieter and just overall more efficient. And then, what are the other settings? DN, DP. There's DR, which is always hard to explain with Polar Stars.
Yeah, DR is always a little weird.
It's
DR really that setting.
That's more for open bolt rather than closed.
Yeah, and really you don't want to go below 17 with that.
Yeah.
I believe the stock. I usually will leave that number at 22, which is the stock
I usually
value.
go down to 17.
Yeah,
but
you just want to leave that at that number because that really doesn't affect how the air is delivered down the barrel, which in my opinion is the most important part of the fusion engine. So any part that doesn't have to do directly with airflow, I usually will just leave alone.
So if you're looking at timing specifically, what it is when you're in open bolt mode, it's how long it waits for the nozzle to return forward before then releasing the air.
Yes.
So how long it lets the pellet, as odd as it sounds, stop vibrating.
Yeah. No,
If you just move
true.
something, it's going to have some internal vibrations.
And when it's at the frequency or the speed
Yeah.
that it's moving at,
It
that
lets
little...
it settle into the hop up, then it shoots.
Yes.
In closed bolt mode, you shoot, then feed, and I think it's the amount of time after it shoots before it then feeds.
Yes. Yeah.
Which again, you still want a high enough value because you don't want the nozzle retracting while they're still pushing the pellet down the barrel.
Yeah.
That's how you get some weird accuracy problems, and that's how
Exactly.
you chew your hop up buckings to death.
Yeah.
So what are the
The
other
packaging for this. Oh man! Apparently these special Oreos, they make you think it's 5 rows, but you only get 3. The monsters.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Straight from Harrison too.
What other settings am I forgetting for dual solenoid?
For dual solenoid, so you have your nozzle dwell, your DN
DP,
setting,
DR.
Oh.
RF,
your rate of fire value. Yes.
which you don't want to go below 5.
So actually,
That's what I've read.
this is if you have
And
one of the
experience.
if you have one of the earlier Gen 3s, when they released their new fusion engine, their new circuit, their new trigger board or FCU, they kind of switched everything around. So before, the lower your RF value, the higher the rate of fire that
That's
you
right.
achieve.
Now RF is what you're trying to aim for.
Yes. So now when you set it at
Yes.
say 30, the Polar Star fusion engine will attempt to match 30 rounds a second.
Yes.
Which makes sense. That's cool. But if you do have one of the older ones,
The older ones were a little more customizable, I found, though.
did you do it? No, I like the newer ones.
But I
they
like
have
the new ones because of
anti-stiction
the
pulse.
anti-stiction pulse.
Yes,
So
that is perfect.
ideal.
So
yes.
yeah, and we'll talk about that in just a second.
Yeah.
But when you have rate of fire. Yeah, so if you go below 3 with your rate of fire, you run into some issues with the air being delivered down that nozzle. So you really don't need to do that. Rate of fire doesn't
Yes.
mean that much in Airsoft 2. I know that there's a lot of younger
And the difference
kids
between
watching
3 and
this.
5, I mean, between 0 and 3 or 4 is like
It's
not
it'll be
anything to
like
notice.
4 rounds per second.
Yeah.
But the moral of the story is, I know that
Don't
some
want it
of
to
you
be that
will be
much.
upset by this,
Be like
but the
1
fact of the matter is, rate of fire doesn't matter in Airsoft unless
Right.
you're a Saga, and even still, it doesn't matter because
You don't
You use all your air.
You don't.
Yeah,
the
you
issue
use
is you
all your
don't.
air.
People are like, oh, like let me do like a DSG build or something that you're just like, oh, high rates of fire. This is perfect. It's like No, get something that'll hold heads down, like
Exactly.
like even 15 BBs a second. Like
It's ideal in my opinion.
that's like where you want to be at, because then
I
you're
think
not just
20 rounds a second.
You're not
Max.
just
But it's like for a saw gunner, I just like that.
Oh yeah, when I had my saw gun,
you
it
just
was
want
at, like,
something
12 a
that's
second.
like like something that's like slow enough to hold heads down, but you could also conserve ammo, because as a saw gunner, you're gonna go through a lot of ammo anyway.
Exactly.
So why increase that amount? It's like,
Yeah.
I can shoot 40 rounds a second.
Right.
Well, then you're out. You're
So
like, ugh.
yeah, you've heard us mention open bolt and closed bolt mode. Actually, I have to correct myself real quickly. His DR does come into play only with open bolt mode. It's the RF value if you have an older version FCU. That is how long it waits for the pellet to go down the barrel before retracting the nozzle.
Yes. Yeah.
But either way, going back to what I was saying, is you'll hear us talking a lot about open bolt and closed bolt mode. And almost everyone will tell you that closed bolt mode is the way to go if you have a dual solenoid system. And the easiest way to explain the differences is that in an open bolt mode, what it will do is it will pull the nozzle back, release it forward, then release a puff of air. And that's the order of firing when you pull the trigger. So it'll load the pellet in, then shoot it.
Think about like on a real sniper rifle, you put a fresh magazine in, you pull it back, load the bullet in, and then lock it down. That bullet is locked in the chamber, and then you pull the trigger. The
Right.
idea behind it is it's already in place, and therefore it can be much more accurate.
No, that's
Oh,
open bolt. Is what you just
no,
described.
that's closed bolt.
No, that's open bolt.
That's closed
I was
bolt.
wondering
Open
for-
bolt is like an Uzi, where
No,
it
but
goes forward. Then
that has nothing to do with. That has to do with gas blowbacks. That has nothing to do with HPA systems.
well, it's kind of like the same thing. What I'm
No,
getting
it's
at
not.
is
Your metaphors are so bad. All right, let me finish my explanation.
Okay,
So what I just
go for
described,
it.
as I said, is open bolt mode. It loads the pellet, then it shoots the pellet. In closed bolt mode, it shoots the pellet that's already in. When you pull the trigger, it'll first release the puff of air, then load the next pellet. The reason that's better is that, as we mentioned, that DR setting, how long it lets the pellet sit in the hop up. When you're on semi-automatic, what it allows it to do is that the pellet is sitting there between your trigger pulls, which is way longer than the fusion engine is going to let it sit normally.
yeah.
And the other really huge benefit, as ridiculous as it sounds, we've mentioned in the past podcasts, microseconds literally make a difference. In closed bolt mode, when you pull the trigger, the first thing it does is shoot. There's no wind up, there's no loading of a pellet. There is zero delay. You pull that trigger, pellets down the barrel. And nice drinking job.
Sure.
What up, babe?
In closed bolt mode, in open bolt mode, when you pull the trigger, it has to load the pellet before it's able to shoot. So there is this microsecond of a delay, but it's actually noticeable. If you fired HPA guns enough, it's noticeable.
Yeah.
I can pick up a gun and be like, oh, why do you have an open bolt mode? You're
Yeah.
wrong.
That's usually the first thing I'll check.
Yeah,
is
but I
closed
have,
or-
admittedly, I find that open bolt mode works on like every single gun. Closed bolt mode, sometimes it's finicky on a few guns.
Yes, yeah.
Depending on the hop-up unit you're using, the barrel, a million variables. Sometimes you'll find you just can't get closed bolt mode to work. A lot of times you switch over to open bolt mode and it'll work fine. So if you're ever in an event and you're like, my gun's not working, it's being finicky, yada yada yada, a lot of times just pop open to your FCU, go to open bolt mode, play the rest of the event like that, and then
Yeah, the real. I'm
deal
not
with
sure
it
like
later.
a true DMR, but if you're a true DMR, you should have that shit unlocked beforehand.
right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean,
James knows how many times I've prepped my gun before an event.
yeah, and the thing is, nothing changes about it. So you
No,
literally
it's-
plug it in, you're like, oh, that's right, it's already perfect.
Yeah, I still go through it, clean it, all that.
Yeah.
I feel like
but you're not wrong.
I feel like that the polar stars. I mostly everybody kind of is just like, oh well, I want I don't know. We can talk about that later in advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah.
I just had a thought. I'm sorry. I was just
First time?
impulsive. I was like, oh man.
But yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Is there any more details you guys want to throw in about the dual solenoid systems and how they function before we talk about the differences between the V12 and the fusion engine? We should mention the fusion engine was the first.
Yes,
Yeah, the fusion engine was
the
the
First
OG.
one to come out.
It was
And Vulcan
American
was
designed,
like, hey,
American
we
made.
want to do this too.
Yeah.
Well,
Vulcan's more affordable.
We'll talk about
Yeah.
the differences between the other two in a moment. But
The Polar Star was like first.
is there anything you want to add about how they function specifically?
not really. I mean, you covered just about the basis, like with the poppet and moving poppets, nozzles, how the solenoids will interact with each other.
We should mention like nozzle diameters with velocity adjustment.
Yeah.
On the Fusion engine, at least. I don't know if they do that with V12 or I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you can get like different nozzles for it.
Well, okay. Either way, on the dual solenoid systems, because the poppet is separate from the nozzle in terms of solenoids, you can get a larger diameter nozzle, and that allows for a different range of FPS adjustment. So, like for example, if I have the green is the lowest power, or gold, something like that.
Green's the lowest, I think.
That might get me from 250 to 300. But if I put a red in, that might get me from 500 to 550, and then there's nozzles all the way in between.
Yeah.
Gives you like a good 50 to 70 FPS range, depending on your setup. And that's adjusted from your 80 to 120 PSI input pressure.
Yeah.
Generally, my personal preference, along with I think most people's, is to run at 80 PSI or below even, to make the gun quieter, and generally it functions, I find, a little more consistently. If you're really going for rate of fire, the higher PSI is better.
Yeah, definitely, because you can recharge that regulator much quicker as a result.
And the
of
nozzle
that.
moves faster.
Yeah,
which
and
is
the
the big
nozzle
thing.
can move faster.
Which I think is part of the reason the lower PSI works better, is the nozzle's not jamming as fast as at 120 PSI.
Definitely.
So I always run, like my DMR, I have it, even when I'm running 500 FPS, I'm only at like 90 to 95 PSI.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of running at 120.
Yeah, don't need to do that. You'll run out of air way too fast.
Yeah, and it's loud.
Yeah.
It's also
If you
loud,
know
yeah.
me, you know muzzle report is my bane of my existence.
Yeah.
But let's go in for a minute about the differences between the two.
Okay, so the two solenoid systems on the
Yeah,
market.
if you want to take this one, I'll jump in.
Let's
there's
take
anything
this
to
one.
No, I mean,
Just
the
take it
topic.
over. All right, so I do like Vulcan. I do like I like their company. They do have some very affordable products. For what you pay, and it's pretty good quality for what you pay. I was pretty unimpressed when they came out with the V12.
If I remember correctly, the original price point was supposed to be about 300.
The original price point. Yeah, the original price point was supposed to be cheap, and what they did was, I'm pretty sure they had like overstock.
G&G.
Oh yeah, exactly. So Vulcan and G&G used to be best friends, and then they broke up. And when they broke up, I'm assuming Vulcan still had a bunch of G&G gearbox shells. So what they did, you can see in the camera.
A lot of G&G's old
is
sweatshirts they kept.
This was cut right here, and they inserted their nozzle system right here, so you could do your quick change nozzles, sort of like the Polar Star. Other things that are strikingly similar.
I just learned something today. That's very interesting.
Other things that are strikingly similar to the Polar Star Fusion engine. These solenoids, I believe, are the exact same. The way that they...
To be fair, they're paintball solenoids, and Valve's been doing paintball for...
but the orientation of them, you take it apart and you look at, how like the poppet system is all set up. It's all strikingly similar. So if you haven't figured out what I'm getting at, is it's basically a blatant copy of the Polar Star Fusion engine for cheap, which is what Vulcan does. And once again, like it is 15% different than the Fusion engine, so it is not illegal in any form. It is an excellent cheap option if you want the two solenoids. And one thing that they do different, one true difference about it, is that you program it all from the trigger pulse.
Like a paintball gun.
Yes, exactly like
Which
a paintball
is,
gun.
in its own right, kind of
It
nice.
is cool, because then you don't need, because you just have this, you just need to somewhere put your battery. You can put that in your grip with no problem at all. You don't have that FCU to deal with.
Why I want
To have
Polar
to
Star
try
to
to
come
fit
out
in
with a
a
Bluetooth FCU
Yes.
that you can just stick in your body anywhere.
Yes.
Program with your phone. It's so much better.
So it's cool. So how it works is you remove that your middle body pin, the very thin rod, and how that works and how you can tell what you're programming is it flashes different lights, and you look into that, but that space where the body pin was, and that's how that's done. So that's really just about the only interesting thing about it. I really have to say. I mean, I'm trying my best to professionally hate on this.
To be fair, since it is a G&G gearbox shell, it will probably be easier to put in most bodies.
Yeah,
Yeah, J&J is like the most
admittedly,
base.
Yes.
Fusion Engine can be very.
We're really trying hard to make this look good, though. I mean, like I'm trying to be very professional about my hate on this. But it's I mean, it's if you really want one, you know, go for it. You know, it's for the price point. It's a competitive deal.
You'll still be outperforming an AG.
Yeah, you can still outperform an AG when this is tuned. That is for sure. But you'll probably feel bad doing it. It's kind of like buying, and this is I think is a good one. It's kind of like buying a Porsche Boxster. It's kind of like buying a Porsche Boxster. Eventually, you're gonna pull up to the light right next to a 911, and you're just gonna go, should have spent the extra money.
Extra 8 times the cost.
Should have spent the extra. I know it is more expensive. The Fusion
say, wow,
is
that's
more
really
expensive.
a relatable
it's
thing. I definitely understand what
Most people have that experience in their
They're
life.
just like, everyone's just like, wow, James is so relatable.
James is so relatable.
All of his metaphors are so good. He's good at stuff.
Terrible. Yeah, every time I bring a metaphor, our view count goes way down.
I mean, for the battle machines, I haven't. I mean, battle machines. Wow, no, that's another one. I was like, hey, let's do this too. I mean, who was it? One of the guys, Joel, that comes in every Sunday or whatever with a new gun.
Oh yeah.
And he swears by his. Oh jeez, what's happening?
Actually, well, to be fair, he did sell his V12.
He did sell it, but he said that he loved it.
No,
like I said,
and
so
you
a
can
lot of
be happy.
customers-
You can find happiness in your own way.
If you
owning one of these.
want HPA performance, but you just don't want to have to shell out a lot, like, I mean, that's kind of like the same thing of going with like a jack. You want the HPA performance, but you really don't want to shell out.
Exactly.
Yeah, and honestly, for the jack is around the same price point. I would always recommend a jack.
I would
a single
say
solenoid
jack over
system,
this,
including the Inferno V2. I'd recommend just about anything over the V12. But like I said, I'm not going to stop you from buying it if you truly want one.
I'd recommend a Bolt over the V12.
Well, that's like
Dad.
It's a little different.
So I figure, is there anything else anyone wants to add about or anyone have any questions about
I'm
the
watching
dual
the chat,
solenoid
guys, so just spam me with your questions. I'll
Or don't
sarcastically answer them. Don't spam, but you can spam
if you guys have any questions about the dual solenoid systems, feel free to chime in. Is there anything you guys want to add? I think, without going too heavily into it.
Yeah, that's the basic gist of it.
Got there.
But yeah.
In that case, before we transition over to the single solenoid systems, I know James wants to talk about Wolverine quite a bit right now.
I was just picking up just to look at it.
I figure it'd be a good time to do our product pick this week.
Oh yeah.
So our bullseye picks.
Do we have one here?
No, because I suck and I left it on the center counter. So actually, I'm gonna let James talk about it in a minute while I go and get it. But this week's pick is one of me and James's favorites. I'm not sure what your opinion on it is the HK45
by KWA.
Yep, from Elite Force by KWA. If you walk in and say you want to buy a pistol, it'll be my very, very first suggestion. It is, my opinion, really one of the best pistols on the market in terms of without spending like $300.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go grab one as an example real quick. I'll be right back, and I'll let James kind of talk about the details a little bit.
Yeah. Because if you don't want to spend the $200 on an FNX 45, get you an HK 45.
So the HK45, the HK 45, just Dan just chilling. Paint me like one of your French girls.
Oh god.
Paint me like one of your sellers.
But the HK 45, I've owned 2 of them. The first one I owned for 3 years. And I put about $25 worth of replacement parts into that. The first time it broke was the nozzle. The feeding ramp broke because when I got it, I was obsessed with racking the slide. So I broke my nozzle. I mean, that makes sense because I was like, oh, look at this. It's just like the real thing.
Yeah, but that's what everybody does. Everyone's first instinct when they have a gun, when we're like, hey, they're like, oh, can I check out this gun? And you give them a gun. And then they're just like, oh, let me just rack it 50 times. And you're just like, why would you do that? Stop. You're gonna
Ryan, I'm looking at you.
You're going to ruin everything. You're going to ruin everything. All those 1911s dead. I'm so sorry.
So it uses KWA's NS2 system, which is their gas blowback system that you'll find on most of their gas blowback pistols. It's just it's such a good system. The replacement parts are you can get all the replacement parts you want for them. It barely breaks. Like I said, I put $30 worth of replacement parts into that gun. It started to have a couple issues with full auto, and my selector broke on it, and so I figured, well, whatever, I'll just junk it and keep it as a parts gun. So now I'm on my second HK45, and it operates well under cold weather. I mean, it is green gas, so it only will work, so well in that kind of environment, but it is pretty good.
Sounds great. Yep.
I swear to God, if there was one in the chamber.
I was nervous. I was
checked
like,
about
I'm pretty
17
sure he's
times.
smart. I was gonna say,
You guys.
Gas on the
Mind you,
thanks,
that was
Hitler.
after about 30 or 40 rounds of shooting.
Yeah.
You need to shave your mustache, get that Hitler stash going. You're gassing me out.
I don't even know what to say to you right now, James. Get out!
The
So-
view count goes to 0.
Real quick, guys. Oh, this is perfect. James's face is just
Oh,
covered.
it's blonde, but it's the jerkiest face I've ever seen. It's
Let me see if I can just
like-
turn our viewers. There we go.
Hi guys, I do the milk.
So hopefully the audio works for once this week. But here is just a little video we filmed just before the stream to give you guys an idea. I think there should be audio right now. If there isn't, or if we're echoing, I do apologize.
I'm watching the stream right now because every time we have echoing issues, I'm not watching the stream. So
Yeah, but don't turn on the stream because then the mic.
if we have issues, please let us know.
Yeah.
Look at those.
But yeah, just a little bit of shooting right here. You can kind of get an idea of what's going on. I have a little bit of a close-up of shooting later, and the action on this gun is just fantastic. You can tell, I'm not sure how the audio is, but you can tell he's hitting target after target after target. This gun has insane consistency, which is the reason I love it so much.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it's really comfortable. My favorite thing is to relate it to, it's like a P99 and a USP together.
Yeah.
And then again, I have a little close-up of it shooting. Like you're licking your computer.
We're just making sure that it works. It sounds like it's working. I can't really hear the audio from me shooting it that well.
Yeah, I noticed that last week, but
How many rounds are in the magazine? Is it like a 22
so
or is it a
26.
It's a 26.
26 round capacity, which is honestly incredible.
And then the gas efficiency, like he said, like when he was putting it out, but the gas efficiency I've heard is like 3-4 mags you can get out of that thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Those things are
good.
monstrous, but the mags are really nice and big too.
Yeah, I love it. Like I said, probably one of my favorite pistols on the market, and especially in terms for the cost. It has a good weight. It is a full size, so it's a little big.
Yeah,
It's not for all those small-handed children. But
But
small.
well, what I love, so some people love it and hate it because of this. I like the lever action mag releases. Way less
I like
likely to
that.
get hit in a holster.
It's ambidextrous too.
It is fully ambi, so you can either finger.
Minus
and-
the selector, but that's no big deal.
Right. And on top of that, everything can be reached with the thumb without having to reach. Like, shift your hand. Like, USB, you kind of have to,
USB.
you
Yeah.
kind
You
of,
really
move
have to
the gun
work
to
for it.
reach.
You're like,
Yeah.
This one, I can do,
It's
slide release.
right there.
I can do safety.
It's
I can
just
do
like-
mag release, all without moving my hand at all. Like I said, I love it.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm pretty
pistol.
sure one day
Great,
I think it
great
was
pistol.
I stole James's once. He had it on him, and I was just like, I'm just gonna take this and shoot this. So I went and I just shot it. They were really nice kick. But like the price point is just really nice for like if you want like the nicest green gas pistol, then
For the price, absolutely,
KWA,
yeah.
the HK45s are definitely.
I love the KWA gas. The pistols,
yeah.
they're pistols.
They
Does it
just
come
do
with a
work.
second backstrap or no?
It does.
It does,
It
yeah.
does
It comes
actually.
with-
Yeah, that I completely forgot to mention that. So, for me, it's perfect. I find that the stock grip is pretty great. If you have even bigger hands than I do, which is admittedly difficult to imagine, it does have a thicker back strap as well.
Yeah.
You simply pop out a little pin on the bottom here,
And then you
and
just,
you throw this back strap in, and it's a little thicker than the original one, and even more comfortable. Comes with a hop-up, the KWA weird hop-up adjustment tool and all that stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
The
it's,
only issue you run into is that the tip is 16 mil. So then finding
What
you need
issue?
to find what?
What issue?
Oh, wait, can you wait? So can you put something in
Yeah, you
there?
could probably
If you
find an
want to
adapter
put
for
it,
it.
if you want to mount a suppressor, like
Is-
you have to. Usually, you have to find like
I'm
the.
not sure if there's internal threads, but I popped the orange tip off in about 3
Yeah.
seconds after buying it.
Because it is kind of obnoxious,
There
but
are
it's
many-
also larger
like
than
an
like a
polygonal
standard.
shape, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But,
So maybe I could. Put
If you
something-
want it comes with the
Actually,
orange
probably
tip.
very could definitely. put
It's
something.
16 mil, so you need to get. I don't remember who it was, but like they had the KWA, the Chris Vector ones were 16 mil.
Yeah.
So you
they're
have
like
to find an
adapter.
adapter, which is I believe kind of hard to find. But I mean,
Let's do
I
it.
don't like orange tips, so I just rip it off myself.
So I figured.
And it has a 1-year warranty.
Before we go back to the stream, back to our topic, I should say, I figure I'll give you guys a little sneak preview of something you might see at Spring Offensive if I can get it working. Speaking of HPA,
What
This-
is this?
this is something I hope to bring. It
It's a
is
launch
a pistol-sized, regular grenade launcher, pistol-sized HPA powered smoke grenade launcher. And
Whoa.
mathematically, I'm looking at about estimations put it between 4 to 450 feet of range to launch a Enola Gay smoke grenade, 40 millimeter smoke grenade.
It'll go farther than the Taggins will.
Yeah. So, a sneak preview for those of you who are
That'd be
interested.
pretty neat.
And to give you an idea, this is the solenoid, this is my expansion tank, and even better, a rifled barrel. And loads in. Yeah. But like I said, just thought any of you guys watching the stream, because you guys know how much I engineer things,
Hey, what's up, David?
thought I'd give you a little preview.
I don't know who David is.
David Fry?
Fry! Sorry, I get excited.
Um,
Me and Fry are friends now.
but
No.
He went up to me and was like, we were like, we should be friends. He's like, we're friends, yay! I love Fry.
all
right.
but back to topic. So we'll talk a little bit about single
More like
solenoid
back
systems.
on target.
Oh!
All right, fair enough.
friend.
Sorry, I make that pun every single episode.
So single solenoid systems have become like the new thing. It kind of seems what a lot of people go for. Lower price point, really, really air efficient,
Yeah.
and in some ways a little more modular than that. Like you can put a jack in a version 3 gun, a version 2 gun, a version 1 gun.
Right.
it makes
put
it,
it in
makes it a little bit more easier on the manufacturer.
Yeah, exactly. So we have, I guess we're out of, no, we have the jack in a box right now. Do we have any of the F1s?
We do not have any F1s in right now.
Should I assume those are coming back in stock soon?
Yeah, they'll be coming back in stock soon.
So just to lift how many single solenoid systems are currently in the market, there's the Jack from Polar Star, as well as the F1 from Polar Star. There's these
are the Infernos, and then you have
The Reapers.
the Reapers. The Hydra Gen 2's coming out.
Yep, the Hydra Gen 2.
technically the Bolt, but we'll go into that a little bit.
I'm not going to count that
Yeah, I'm not
since it's a
gonna
Do you
different
want to
platform.
say the
And of
N7?
course, I was about to say, yep, and then the N7 Milsim.
Just
Yes.
And the N7 goes from N7 Milsim, and then the other one, I'm actually going to be bringing in a couple N7 Milsims
Really?
later on
Cool.
this week. Yeah. They're fully mechanical, no,
That's right, yeah.
absolutely no electronics in there. It's kind of like the Daytona gun. Actually, I was looking at it and how the trigger releases air is very similar to the Daytona gun system. So
Nice.
it should have a very crisp feeling every
Snap,
time you pull
yeah.
that trigger. Yeah. So that's pretty cool.
Cool.
So there's about 6. I think there's a couple other random
Probably about a
ones.
dozen HP systems in total on the market.
Yeah.
About 6 or 7.
Yeah,
Who
6 or
else?
7
Who else
mainstream
dropped
ones.
one?
Well,
Redline
yeah,
has-
single solenoid is really what I'm looking
Yeah,
at.
yeah. Single
Protec.
solenoid, yeah.
They did their Mark IIs or something. That's their single solenoid Protec.
Yeah.
But again, like mainstream.
Yeah,
single
Yeah.
solenoid just
in
because-
the mainstream
Yeah.
specific.
The hip kids.
Cool kids, yeah.
But so the single solenoid systems work a little different than the dual solenoid systems, obviously. There's obviously less things to program because you're only dealing with one solenoid, and the solenoid will first push the nozzle forward, then release a burst of air using a valve system, and then retract the solenoid again. I believe that's a firing order.
Yeah, it's an open bolt system for the most
It is.
part.
It is.
Yeah.
They are open bolt systems, to be clear.
I think the Reaper is The Reaper and the
Reaper's
N7
closed-
Milsim,
they're closed
those are both closed bolt.
Curious how the air
so-
efficiency is on those.
I'd be
those
curious too, yeah.
bolts. Because the benefit of the open bolt piece.
Oh, one thing also about the N7 Milsim is there's no full auto.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay, so that makes things a little easier.
Yeah, it's a
That's one
Milsim.
less thing.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But so the nice thing about these is because there's less things to program, they're a little better for the novice user. They you can kind of make these work almost no matter what, unless you really mess stuff up.
They can work in just about anything.
Their
you wanna
default
drop.
settings will basically always work, and you'll have a good rate of fire, good functionality. Yeah, and like I said, again, the air efficiency is greater than a dual solenoid system because, well, at least a stock dual solenoid system.
Yeah.
You can get the fusion engine stupid efficient. Like,
Yeah.
how many rounds do you think did I fire
At Patriot.
at Patriot
Oh,
on what 2,500 psi
Yeah.
at the beginning of the day?
And you still we went through like 1,500 psi, right?
Yeah,
And you shot probably like 15 mags maybe.
yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Over a bag of pellets.
Yeah, that's pretty efficient for a whole day to play.
So, like, again, fusion engines can be made pretty efficient all the
absolutely.
same. But we'll talk a little bit about some of the differences between them. I don't know if one of you want to take to that, because you probably actually know that better than I do. I know the fusion engine systems really well. Admittedly, I don't know the Wolverine systems quite as solid.
Yeah, so the Wolverine systems are cool. When they originally came out with the Gen 1 SMPs, they had an analog switchboard that you had a...
I didn't like this.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of them too, but you can get them for cheap. They're, it's they on their website like they call it like Old Faithful because you can't break it. But there was two analog dials that you'd adjust for your pop and dwell, and then for your rate of fire. And those are the only two things. They've since come out with the Bluetooth FCU, which is actually really cool because it comes with a true lockout mode. Like a turning lock kind of, if you will. And you can restart your phone, and you can uninstall the app and then reinstall it, and it'll still be locked. Yeah, like it is a true lock.
What is it, timer lock?
Yeah, so you can try you can have
You
a
can set it as long as
timer
you want
lock
to,
it
so
for 2
48
days.
hours.
Nice.
You can timer lock it for 2 days, and it will not. You
What
cannot
if you have
touch
a
that.
friend that's like timer lock for 99 years?
Yeah, there's that one friend. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's workarounds.
Giuseppe
for that.
has the Bluetooth FCU for his. He still has a Gen 1 SMP, and he has that thing. That thing's tuned to a point where when we went to Breaking Bad 2, we played. It was the 24-hour one, so we played all weekend, and it was some hard stuff. But he didn't even go through all of his his air. So it's crazy the
Well-tuned
efficiency you can
system,
get. A well-tuned once you get any single solenoid, once you get it tuned, it's super sweet.
You'll easily double the number of shots over stock settings. if you tune it.
Easily. Yeah.
Like a
Once you
92
get it, that's
against,
what
you
the
could
thing.
do 2 whole weekends of play.
Right.
with it.
We could go on for 3 podcasts about how to tune an HPA system, but
Yeah,
That's-
it's
it's an art.
it's you learn over time.
Yeah.
Like I was talking about earlier, so the Infernos so they had the Gen 1 SMPs. So now they have the Infernos, they came out with the Inferno Gen 2s. So along with the Bluetooth board and the regular premium FCU,
Interesting. Sorry,
and
weird
then
noises.
they have
Building.
the Spartan Edition. The Spartan Edition utilizes the trigger, so semi-automatic is you change the dwell, and then fully automatic is you set the rate of fire by actually shooting like BBs. So the tuning's pretty simple. That's something that I want to get because I don't want to screw around with settings. I ain't got time for that. I mean now I do, but back then I was nah, I ain't got no time for that. The cool part about these, the Infernos, is that they're the Evolution series. So what you have going on is I can unscrew this front end. I could change it out for the Hydra front end, so some gear version 7 gearboxes, they have offset nozzles because of how all the air system, how all of it lines up with the piston and everything.
Right.
So you need the air to go in a specific direction. So then all I need to do is grab the Hydra front end, buy one of those, and you can buy them just right off. You just screw it on, and then you're good to go. So I can go from an M4 to an M14 in a few seconds. And then, of course, the coolest part is that, they have the nozzles are labeled, but they have a nozzle for just about anything. They have them for PDRs. They have them for Tavors, G&G M14s, Tokimuroi M14s. They get really specific. What King Arms FIL, VFC XCR. So like rather than just like the standard like. So they have just so many nozzles, and then you have the switchboards, and then that's that's all you need to change out. So if I wanted to go from my M4 to an AK, I spend $40, 20 on a nozzle, 20 on a switchboard, and then I'm good to go.
In a few hours to put it in.
In a few hours. But then after that,
nice.
Here to go. So it's cool because it offers single solenoid systems in general offer a lot more modularity, a lot. But I just like the Inferno just because they've had so many nozzles out, and they work with all the old nozzles, so they don't have to change anything. So, these are pretty cool. I mean, we had them in MP5s, Masadas, M4s. They obviously work the most generic end, but
good stuff,
right?
And then your boy Rich Lord, who made the SMP, who is like the owner of the company. He does all of any video about anything aspect of any of their products. He does. So how to install this, how to change this, how to use the Bluetooth FCU Spartan Edition. And they have like the Facebook group where he's actually on there answering like customers' questions. Like I'm a part of that group, and he's like, "Oh yes, this is this."
Nice.
So that's kind of cool. They're really good with their customer support. Like I ended up busting my trigger board or something. I told them, "Hey, this thing busted." They were like, "All right, well, we're not supposed to do this, but we're just gonna send you a new one."
Hell yeah.
So like,
they hook you up pretty well.
Yeah, like
I've had similar experience with Polestar. It's nice that these smaller companies they can really USA based companies.
That's the best when you have people like I don't know. That makes me feel super good rather than having to be like, okay, my thing's done. They're just like, oh, well, I have to deal with you just like you deal with everybody else, like a big company, like like it's just well, I'm just gonna do this. Like it's cool because you can have some interpersonal experience. Like you could probably find a way to talk to, Ben from Polestar. You can find Rich on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or anything and message him personally. So that's super.
Oh cool. yeah, and you can also see them here. Usually, the Polestar will be coming down for the Crazy 8 event, as well as I'm going to be inviting Wolverine, and since it's on a Saturday, Wolverine will actually show up. The amount of salt is so high right now.
You gotta hang out with us on our bad days and our good days.
What I was gonna say, I figured I'd talk a little bit about the F1 system versus the Jack, because we get asked a lot the difference between the F1 and the Jack, the fusion engine. We kind of went the difference between the Jack and the fusion engine, single solenoid versus multiple solenoid. But the Jack and the F1 seem they are very much more similar. The difference, the F1 uses, I believe it's a custom solenoid design and slightly different valving internally, and it makes it, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure it's the most air efficient system on the market.
The F1?
The F1.
Yes, I believe that is, I don't know the specifics, but I do remember Polestar coming out and they're just like, this is...
Right,
it's good.
And the new FCUs have a sleep mode where you can basically leave them plugged in for like a year and they won't kill your batteries.
Still
don't suggest doing it.
Yeah, don't do that.
But it is technically a thing.
Number one point of failure for batteries is you left them plugged into your FCU
or Amoeba.
What
I was going to say, so the F1 is a really great setup for that kind of gun where you don't want to have the line. You want to get one of those tank stock things.
Air stocks. I'd run one of those.
That's actually cool. Yeah.
That would be the system. If you really want to ditch the line, you want to have one solid system, and you really need that air efficiency because you only have so much volume in those air stocks. Definitely, honestly, go with an F1.
Yeah.
You can get the efficiency that really makes that difference. So you're not running out of air halfway through a day. You don't want to have to rely on dying and have to go back to respawn in order to refill your tank.
Yeah, especially with those smaller tanks. Like those smaller tanks, if you're really hammered on your trigger, you can go through them quick. But like if you have a good setup like DMR, you can do a whole weekend with your whole gun set.
If the air stocks weren't so ugly, I would totally.
Yeah, they're hideous and they're long too.
It kind of, I don't know. It kind of takes. Well, long is fine for me. I have Godzilla arms over here, but it just takes the immersion aspect a little bit out for me, and I realize so does a line coming out of your gun, but you can forget about a line. It's kind of hard to forget about, let me just put my cheek against this metal tank.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a little too paintball for my taste. However, I certainly respect not having a line as amazing.
Yeah. I don't know. I personally don't like being attached to my gun.
See, I don't
more
mind.
than at like one point. Like, cause I mean, so I usually find myself in situations where I need to do something where I'm like having an extra line just like would get in the way.
See, it's funny is I actually like having the line because I usually run a single point sling.
Right.
But it's nice having that line just adds an extra point of stability. So I can run, usually with a single point sling, a lot of times you run and the gun's
It'll swing around. That'll kind of keep it in.
It kind of helps
bad.
stabilize it.
Yeah.
It's like the benefit of a 2-point sling, but still just as maneuverable as a 1-point sling. I don't know. So that's why I'm always just like, why would I just align it?
Yeah.
It literally does work for me. But all right, is there anything else to mention about singles before we go into mechanical systems?
I thought about something is that so they came up with the Wraith stock where they use the CO2, the 12 gram CO2s.
Oh yeah,
in the shell. So this can utilize that, and like Giuseppe has it, he has a dual source kit, so he can use the line, but he can also use the
nice.
the Wraith, which is actually pretty cool.
So
and then Polar Star dropped just out of nowhere.
Yeah, and so out of that Wraith stock, you can get like 200 shots out of like 170 to 200 shots.
Which is pretty good.
Which is pretty good, yeah. For a 12 gram CO2
Especially if you're
cartridge,
doing a DMR type work.
Yeah, that'd be
for a
perfect.
12 gram CO2 cartridge, that is phenomenal. And then Polar Star, I forget the name of it and what it's called, but I was watching a video
Like
from
3 years knowing Polar
Yeah,
Star.
yeah, and I was watching a video.
I was gonna
from
say that's
SHOT
a
Show.
long time coming.
I was watching a video from SHOT Show on them, and Polar Star Ben, he's just talking about it. He's like talking about the new things. I forget the majority of what he said, but one thing that really stood out to me was he was going through it. He's like, yeah, so we have now the our new CO2 stock. The stock is essentially your pressure chamber for all that CO2, and you fill it up using one of those fillable CO2 devices. And he casually just mentions, he's like, yeah, so you'll get about 900 shots out of them and this and that. And like, he just grazes over the fact
that 900 shots
900 shots out of something that it takes you about 30 seconds to recharge.
Right.
It's like,
you just have something
wait, whoa, I had to like go back. I'm like, wait, what?
You just
What
have
did
that,
you just say?
something just sitting at your respawn.
Yeah, so that was awesome. And I don't know the name of it or anything. I just know that it'll probably take a while because it's Polar Star. But the nice thing about Polar Star is when Polar Star releases something, the wait is always worth it. I can guarantee you. I'll put a money bet on that. I'll bet thousands of dollars because it's all I have never seen Polar Star ever come out and be like, oh wait, never mind.
Polar Star, if you need a beta tester.
Yeah. So they're awesome. Polar Star is fantastic.
So before we move on to mechanical system, do we want to talk about the bolt?
Bolt, yeah. Let's talk about the bolt. The bolt is actually
you
really
have
cool.
experience with this yourself.
Yeah,
So.
Yes.
you do the work.
Before the end of the stream, which is in 17 minutes, I also want to talk about air rigs a little bit. So
Okay. I'll keep it quick, I promise. So the bolt is a cylinder replacement for, as it stands right now, your VSR 10. So it replaces your VSR 10 bolt, and it's actually really cool because it has a very, very, very diverse operating range of, I believe it's as low as 60 psi all the way up to 200 psi.
Yeah.
The solenoid on this one is quite the monster. So which means that you can actually push this from field legal. I've used my bolt. I did build a bolt. I'm actually selling it if anyone wants to buy it. But I did build a bolt, and I was able to use it in here at 315 FPS. And then it was cool because I can watch people not call their hits. So I can also aim for the squishy bits, like your neck and
wanted
such.
to build like a cut down.
Oh yeah, and it's cool though because it jewel creeps like a motherfucker too. It's because it's so efficient in that respect, and yeah, and you can push this all the way up past 3 joules, like past any sniper limit, 700 FPS. You can push it way past that.
So on the talk of joules real quick, it's funny. I also did out the math for the joules of the smoke grenade coming out of the launcher.
How many joules?
89 joules.
Oh my
It's
god!
gonna kick like a shotgun.
Whack someone on the top of the side of the head, you'll knock them out. So the bolt is a very simple system. You can actually leave your battery plugged into it for basically a whole year,
right?
Because when you pull the trigger, that completes the circuit,
right?
So
there's no FCU.
Yeah, there's no FCU on it. You don't need any of that, and you have more than enough space than you'd ever need for air efficiency. You can put like a 1,000mm barrel in there if anyone makes it, and you can do that. And it's very easy to install. It's a little bit.
Walk around with a flagpole.
Yeah.
Well, like a bullpup gun that had like maybe a barrel would be like.
Yeah, get like one of those bullpup snipers.
Oh, you keep
SRS.
talking. No, you keep talking. I'm gonna pull one up.
Get an SRS silverback.
But yeah, I mean, they're really. It's a
that
very
TSR.
simple system. It's a very simple system. The install was a bit more. It was a bit more involved than I had initially expected. But once you have it installed, I mean, it's such a great gun, and it's so quiet. If you put a foam-filled suppressor on the end, when I put my foam-filled suppressor on there, I actually couldn't tell if it was working or not because it was so quiet. I'm like, is it feeding?
That'd be enough.
Because it shoots so far, and I wasn't hitting against a solid background.
Right.
And so it was just like, I'm like, is this working? It's annoying because I'll be shooting it.
I want to
and
put
I
it in a
can't
sound
tell.
system like that.
That'd be cool.
That would be really cool, and they're coming out like usually those guns are built off of like the L96 style,
exactly.
and so they're working on an L96 style one of these. So once that's released, that opens up a can of all these other sniper platforms. You can see some really cool platforms.
I really
out
want
of
to put it in
that.
a system like this.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
I might go back to Bolties. The only thing I wish is I had more.
You're looking for a new
Yeah.
bolt action rifle.
So I'll sell it to you.
No, I'll go back to
dirt
Bolties
cheap.
or something like that. Not yours. I just wish I had a little more adjustability. Is my one complaint.
Yeah, with like the settings.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's
It
just
doesn't
push-
have settings. I get it.
Yeah.
But like, I wish that you could adjust the volume in the cylinder, or you could adjust the with like maybe a screw or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Or you could adjust the. I guess really that's really what I'm be able to adjust.
Yeah, just to really tune that air for the air efficiency, so that way you're not over voluming your barrel.
Because we did see it wasn't as consistent as say a Fusion engine.
It wasn't as consistent, but I mean, in terms of range, I've pushed a BB past 315. I've pushed a .4 past 350 feet.
Oh yeah.
With that, accurately up to about 350.
Right, but we were seeing about 20 FPS variants.
I've gotten it down to like 5 or so.
Okay.
But when I first started it, I was working with that. I got like that Neo hop-up unit that puts the AEG rail, so it wasn't all lining up right. But now that I've finally worked on it, it is more consistent.
5 is totally acceptable.
Yeah, it's totally acceptable. It's nice.
So
it's really nice.
Yeah. So you already kind of touched on the Daytona gun earlier.
Yes.
So I figure we should touch on probably one of the last big HPA systems out there.
Just the tip, man.
Which is the Tippmann. These things are really cool for someone looking really to get into the HPA kind of stuff.
Likes the feel of a gas blowback.
Without breaking the bank. You don't get quite the efficiency or the reliability or the accuracy out of this as you will a dual solenoid system, but here you have nice forward recoil.
Yeah.
So the gun tries to run away from you every time you pull the trigger.
But it is fun to shoot. I'm not gonna lie.
It is a hoot. It's
a great time. It gives you definitely way more reliable than a Daytona gun.
Oh,
way more accessible than a Daytona gun.
Okay, so when Sean still worked at Tippmann, he was the former product manager for Tippmann. When he was down here, I had a friend come in who was debating whether between a Daytona gun or a Tippmann, and I'm like, yeah, my friend's here is looking at. He's like, where is he? Show me him right now. I'll close that sale in 5 minutes. And so he's like running to find this kid. He finds him and he goes, I heard that you're looking, for these two systems. And the kid's like, yeah. He's like, question. Do you like your guns being fixed when they break? and that was the only thing he said. And he's like, well, the Daytona gun. Now actually, Tony Rizzo is no longer at the helm of that. That's a different guy.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Because I haven't seen Tony been posting in the group as much.
I didn't realize.
But when he started it, he was building these out of his garage, and everything operated out of his house. So Sean was just like, this dude literally does his company out of his garage.
Yeah.
We are an established company that's been around for 20 years. We have a whole building dedicated to this, and our customer service is fantastic. The kid ended up buying a Tippmann right there on the spot.
Yeah.
Like you said, 5 minutes he closed that sale.
I mean, they do a 1-year warranty on like
and you can
stuff. That's really
and
nice.
they say that warranty goes past 1 year. I mean, he says officially it's 1 year, but he's like, but Sean would always say like, if you call us up and you have an issue, we'll find a way to make it work for you.
The cool part about these is that, I don't know, it's not set up. So there are two different. It comes with two different ways that you can run the air, which is really cool. So I wish it's fine we don't have one of the magazines, but they could utilize a system. You could set it up here in the mag well that's going to use CO2.
Don't use it.
Practically,
It's not useful because especially if you have to like I had some guy who was like, oh yeah, I'm shooting at like 400. I need to tone it down for the field. And you have to
CO2
so when it's an 80 round mag.
Oh yeah.
Once you release the mag, it'll dump all the CO2.
Yeah,
out.
it punctures the CO2 mag.
Yeah,
or the CO2
exactly.
cartridge. As
so then when you
it.
pull it out, it'll dump it all.
That's
So
not the
tuning
best
it's
design.
not the best, but they were like, you know what, that's just something. But the configuration that what just about anybody recommends really is it comes with like you can run it with a tank and a line. You need a high prep. What's the
You
line?
need a
800 PSI.
non-SLP tank.
Yeah,
Any
non-SLP
non-SLP tank.
Which,
Because
to be clear, non-SLP tanks regulate down to 300 psi coming out of the tank.
Yep.
A regular tank is 800 psi. The reason it's 800
850,
psi,
but yeah.
8 to 850. But the reason it's that is the vaporization pressure of CO2.
Yep.
And so the HPA tanks were originally designed to replace CO2 tanks, and therefore they have the same vaporization pressure.
Yep.
Nice thing is you can use CO2 or HPA on this gun. We don't suggest going back and forth though.
Yeah.
'Cause that's how you
Yeah.
break stuff.
Yeah, that's how you break
But
stuff.
that's something cool. Obviously, if you have CO2 tanks and you just want to keep running those, you can do that. But if you're just getting one, you might as well get an HPA tank.
It's
That'll
cheaper
save
to
you
fill.
so much
Yeah,
money.
it's cheaper. It's cheaper to fill. It's just
It's less
better.
It's nice. So it's super cool if you want like somewhere between a gas blowback and an HPA system. The only thing I've heard is sometimes you have problems with hop ups, but they've come out with like different mods and they have like straight up and down, top down
And
hop ups now.
That takes just regular AEG parts and
Yep,
a barrel.
barrels.
No, right? Barrel is
Inner barrel, yes.
I think outer barrel.
Outer
also.
barrels are not. They have custom.
Right, that's what I'm saying. They are
Yeah.
proprietary outer
Yeah,
barrels.
the
Yes.
outer barrels are custom, but they do sell different lengths. They sell a longer version and then a CQB version of that.
Yeah.
But rail systems and grips.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the grip is also proprietary.
Yep, grip is very proprietary.
But rail systems and stocks and all that.
Yeah, fully it's mil spec, so
Yeah.
everything would work on that.
Yep.
You can also adjust the FPS. The FPS and the rate of fire are super easy to adjust.
The
I'm not
full
gonna
auto,
call it.
the full
Sometimes
auto
OP is
leaves
the same, though.
a bit to be desired on those.
Yeah.
Really, they're just like a fun CQB
So you
gun.
probably can't see any of this, but I don't remember which one does the rate of fire. But you can adjust the rate of
Rate of
fire is down here.
Yep, the rate of fire is that one right there, right next to the silver bit.
Yep.
That's your rate of fire. Then
So
on
rate
the
of fire
upper
can be
receiver,
adjusted here, and that's your FPS. So you can adjust them on the fly. So like people buy them here.
That doesn't mean, oh, I chronoed in. Let me turn up.
Yeah,
my-
Well,
if
we
you do that,
Tippin
that's
actually
cheating
does
and
sell
will kill you.
Yes.
tourney locking or rear receiver pins that are elongated and have a space that
Yep.
you can put a zip tie.
Yeah, and if your FPS is too hot, they do sell a low velocity valve.
Yep.
A heavy bolt for this, so you'll get even more
Yeah, you
recoil.
can get a heavy bolt. That makes it fun, but then it just tries to leave in your hand.
That's true.
even
It
more.
tries to jump away. It's
Also
like,
takes
no,
a
go!
lot more.
Yeah.
Be free.
More
But
stress.
it's still pretty nice. It's a basic M4. I believe it'll take most real steel rails.
But
Yeah.
So
with
there you
8
go.
minutes left, I do want to talk a little bit about lines, because I know there's a lot of confusion between different HPA lines
Yes.
in general. First and foremost, I'm going to start by saying that if you're running Tippin and you have to use an 800 PSI line, I've personally witnessed someone try and plug in a regular line into just a straight tank and it just exploded. So that was fun. And scared the living daylights out of me. But so if you are getting Tippin, let me make your life easier here. Get an ASA line.
Yeah,
Get a line
so
that you
the slide
can
check.
turn. Otherwise, you have to turn off your tank every single time you want to unplug your gun. And here at Extreme, in most fields, we require you to unplug your gun, your air system when you step
Yep,
into
when you're
staging.
staging.
Which means you're going to be unscrewing and screwing in your tank all day long, compared to just going and unplugging it.
yeah, that's what you got.
Get an ASA system.
Yeah, that slide
Absolutely.
check is so like, and it's just like right before. So your slide check,
Yep.
nozzle off. It's
Yeah.
so nice.
Yep. Exactly. But that's kind of the simpler side of things. There's a bunch of company that sells those. Tippmann's, Falcon. I really like the Tippmann ones personally. I think they're
Yeah.
pretty high quality for the price.
Yeah, they do.
But moving into what most people are using, which is the 80 to 120 PSI range style systems. is I can't say I remember the name of the Ninja and Redline regulators that are balanced.
So the red line is the LPR. The Ninja, I'm sorry, I got that mixed up. So the Ninja is the LPR, the low pressure regulator.
Yep.
And then the red line has the fire base, which is actually the SFR now.
Yes.
The SFR is balanced to a point. It does balance, and once you get to your extremes, it doesn't do so much of a great job. But in your normal operating pressure, like around 2,000, 3,000, that it works pretty well. So you have your SFR, and then you also have a couple other ones. Polar Star's coming out with their own.
I can't wait for that one.
That's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Speed has their own,
Yep.
as well as Wolverine has the on-tank Storm,
Yeah,
which is
the
actually
Storm
which is the most
is
compact one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I heard that
That's
one's
cool.
not balanced though.
I don't know if it is, but everyone that I've sold, everyone has liked it. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
the experience have been positive.
Just to be clear, what we mean by balanced is a balanced regulator. Your tank can be anywhere from 4,500 psi to 300 psi, and it'll maintain the exact same output pressure, like to the psi.
Yeah.
A non-balanced regulator, you'll see that pressure drop over the usage of your tank, and you'll need to kind of adjust on the fly a little bit, which if you have a tourney lock could be a problem.
Exactly. Yeah.
The in-between right now is there's the semi-balanced regulators, which are what most people buy. They're a good price point. Pretty much, that's what I suggest. Have a fully balanced regulator because as a DMR, I need to be shooting as consistently as possible.
Absolutely.
I generally see an FPS difference of 1.
Yeah.
And that's the benefit of a fully balanced regulator.
Absolutely.
Is I'll shoot 399 or 400, and that's
That's it.
That's it. But that comes with obviously a built gun as well as a good regulator. Semi-balanced regulators will really be what most people, and again, what are the ones we call the SFR, right?
Redline SFRs.
No, the SFRs, those are like kind of like the replacement for the fire base. I think what you're thinking of are the SLP regulators.
Yeah.
Those are non-balanced.
Those right.
But those are also super
They're
cheap.
semi-balanced.
Yeah, but those are also super cheap though.
Right.
So if you're really just looking for just like a get or done regulator, the SLP regulator will just do the job.
Yeah.
Yep. And honestly, that's kind of what I suggest for most people. Also, go for the braided macro.
Yeah,
line.
get a braided line, definitely.
It's the other one's
amps,
kink and stuff, and it's just not worth it.
the ones that come with most
Are braided now. They weren't originally now.
But if you want the best, I think Amped Airsoft has a fantastic like they sell these lines. They're called the like the in-gun, like the IGL in-gun line or whatever.
Yeah. Figgles.
Yeah, the Eagles and also the Figgles, the filtered, the ones with filters on those too.
I had a Figgle on my MP5.
Yeah, their lines are ultra high quality. I really recommend them for going especially into your fusion engine or into your system, as well as if you want like a really nice line
Didn't they just come out with a high pressure line for Timmins?
Yeah, they came out with high pressure, like a braided high pressure line.
Nice.
So I mean, I usually don't like to plug other businesses, but Amped Airsoft is really doing a great job, and they deserve some recognition since we're on the subject.
Yeah,
so
no, absolutely.
And actually, I think that I could be able to get Amped Airsoft products in. They do have an ability to buy from them as a dealer. I'd be interested in that.
My personal preference is probably the lines Redline comes with.
Yeah.
The Redline regulators.
Yeah.
For the price point.
Yeah, for the price point, it's such a great job. It's such a good one.
Yeah, and just always have the QDs and stuff like that on the ends, and just make your life easy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the only time you need a single QD is when you have a Tipman. Or, I'm sorry, not a Tipman. Well, yes, a Tipman and a Daytona gun, because Daytona guns require that high volume of air moving all the time. So when I had my Daytona gun, I had to get that single QD line, which would allow for higher airflow.
Yeah, it's just a bit more of a pain.
Yeah, no, it was the whole Daytonas in general. Like honestly, I was on my 5th Polar Star when I bought my first one. I thought I was ready for it. I broke it within 2 minutes.
I remember.
So I received it. It was a little, I needed some TLC, so I sent it out to Tony. $200 later, he fixed it. I got it back, and I broke the R hop in 2 minutes because I was trying to tune the hop up. So go me. And then I sold that. I waited another year and a half, and I bought another one, and I approached it. I tiptoed toward that package as I opened it, and it was a very nice gun, but I just didn't get to use it. Just like every other gun, I didn't get to use it enough, so I sold it. But when I owned that M4, it was fantastic.
No, it was nice. I'll get it.
It was fun.
It was real nice.
I got it chronoed at Stronghold, and before he was my friend Connor, he's actually on Durka now. he was like, so I'm gonna let you hold your gun while you chrono it because you just test shot it and it scared the living shit out of me. So if you ever want the scare factor, that's the
Also, if it breaks, it's your fault, not mine, and I don't have to owe you $100.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like I said, with lines, it's worth spending the money, but you also don't need to go crazy. If you're doing DMR work, you kind of have to go crazy.
In general, I don't know. I think it's worth it $50 extra to go from, screw just having the SLP rigs.
Because then you have to get an SLP tank. The SLP tank is $20
Yeah, I
more.
suggest not getting an SLP tank.
Just stay away from that.
It gets
Like,
you get better
balling on a
performance and you're
budget.
more versatile with
That
just buying the SFR regulator. That'll get you places.
That reminds me.
More consistency.
Also, pay attention to what you're buying, because we had a customer here for a long time that used a non-SLP tank and used an SLP regulator. And right in the bottom of the regulator said maximum input operating pressure of 200 psi, or no, of 350 psi, and he was putting 800 into it. And
Hey, who is that?
I don't remember his name. He doesn't come here anymore.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I haven't seen him in a bit.
And he finally got a new regulator when I was like, this is literally going to blow a hole in your back one day.
Yeah. It's going to fail and it's going to be bad.
So, yeah, make sure you know what you're doing. If you're going to be doing
but
something like that,
we're always happy to answer questions.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But also, if you're doing something like that, you should be doing your own research too. It's a big investment. You'll drop $1,000. You can see yourself 600, 1,000, or more on a full HPA setup. So just spend the extra money, but also take the time to know what you're working with, and that know what you're getting will work.
Right.
And
Exactly.
don't blow yourself up.
And especially with HPA, just like everything else in Airsoft, the more you spend on, the more you spend,
the more you'll get.
you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So always keep that in mind when you're buying or when you're shopping.
But also keep in mind what you intend
quality.
on doing with it.
Yeah, and also what you intend on
If you're
doing
going to
with
be playing, 2-3 times a year, and you want something you can just pick up, know it's going to work, go play, come home.
the jack.
Get a jack.
A jack,
yeah, exactly.
a jack and SLP regulator. Just
If you're going to be doing DMR work, get a dual solenoid system.
dual solenoid system.
You have to.
Get the fire or the red line at SFR. Get a 30,000 or 40 with the tank.
This is why DMR work is expensive.
Yeah, I mean it's precision. Anything when tolerances get tighter and money goes way up.
Like Noveski barrels.
Exactly, like Noveski barrels, $430. That was a big pill to swallow, but my AR is complete.
Nice.
It's done.
Can't wait to shoot that.
Oh, yeah.
But with that, we are unfortunately out of time. So like we always say, stay tuned on our website and our Facebook page, but definitely our website.
We are gearing up for summer, and this summer is going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome summer. We got the event in August, which is just the end, to top it all off. But
The August event is going to be fantastic. The 4th of July event is going to start it off. Then the August event is going to put a nice
all
connection
summer
on
long.
it.
We're going to get some cool stuff going on, so make sure you stay tuned. We'll have some cool.
Yeah, thank you guys who are watching. Thank you to the reps. I don't know if they're still with us anymore, but thank you to Harrison from ASG and John from Z-Shot for keeping the comments lit.
Wasn't me.
Right? As Dan sits here and breaks a gun. But like I said, thanks for tuning in, guys. If you have any more questions about any of this stuff, feel free to call the store or email us, anything like that. We're always happy to answer questions.
Don't message me on my personal Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah, that too.
Or anything,
but like I said, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube page.
Been able to stay away from that for them.
Add our website to your favorites, so you can check up on that.
Make sure on Facebook, since Zuckerberg is the coolest guy in the world. Make sure you're always you go to our Facebook page and you say see first.
Yep.
You make sure you click that option under so that
because we can't share any of our events, we can't boost them, so you might not see them.
Yeah.
Which again was why it's great to look at our website.
Exactly.
It's always going to be updated with the newest stuff.
Actually, we also did get a new point of sale system, so emailing deals will actually start to be a thing. So we're
give us your email for.
Yeah, so give us your email. We promise we won't spam you too much. We'll spam you probably once a month. We'll send out an email with maybe deals that are happening that month or upcoming weeks
and all that.
Yeah.
And stay tuned this Thursday for what I hope is our first Thursday.
Yes,
video.
we have a very high
Spotlight.
quality
Amazing work.
camera, so expect to
nice
see
camera?
Finally
some.
got the equipment
It's
to be able
so
to do it.
nice. It's like those photos are really
Yeah,
nice.
right?
Yeah, expect to see some very high quality product reviews, product spotlights from us, kind of like what we do with our bullseye picks, but better.
Yeah, edited better, all that. But finally, like I said, guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you
you.
next week, same time, same places.
Bye.
Have a great night.
Have a great night.
See you guys.
Bye.
Let's
Have a
fix
nice
this thing.
time.